This conference will now be recorded.
Hello. Anyone tried doing the questionnaire preparation for the first case study?
Yeah, I have done it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's go through whatever that you have prepared. I'll give you presenter access. You can share your screen and show it to me, show it to the group. So the what you have done. So we'll go through the things. Okay. Right. So who has done it? Who wants to go first? Could you please mention your names?
Yeah, I have done it. I'm
Okay.
Sriporna.
Okay. Just give me a moment. So I'm making you a presenter, so you can share your screen and show it to me what you have done. Yeah, I've made you presenter already.
So can you
Yeah,
see
I
my
can see. Yes, I can see your screen. Yes. Okay. So just a bit background of what was the case study and also go through your questionnaire. Sriparna, so just the background of what was the ask and go through the questionnaire, please.
Okay, so I need to say
What was the ask? I mean, brief background about the case study,
yeah.
and then like the questions that you have prepared, so that
So,
so we'll
so
have that continuation.
okay, there was a financial system which has a core. They have a core system and some
Mm-hmm.
legacy system as well. So we need to integrate some new system with the core system without affecting the legacy system and as well as the core system. This is
Mm-hmm.
the brief of the total requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And also there the core system, the initially the legacy system has some data duplicacy, so we need to fix that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So please go through your questions, and the other thing that I would like to know is whom are you asking these questions to? Which stakeholder are you targeting? So obviously, like there are a number of stakeholders, and obviously, when we prepare questions, we'll be preparing some common questions maybe for some set of stakeholders, but other questions definitely would be different for different stakeholders, right? So,
Yeah,
whom are
I'll
you
take.
asking these questions to? So, just mention that as well.
Oh, but I did not think about the
Okay.
stakeholder. Okay,
Okay, fine. Yeah, go through the questions and based on your understanding, let me know whom you would like to ask these questions to.
okay. The first question, what kind of data core system consists? Need to
Mm-hmm.
understand the as is functionality of this core system.
Okay, and scope for this core system. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the stakeholder would be the technical person of that system.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The next question is what kind of existing integration between core system and the legacy system existing,
Okay.
and is there any existing issue?
Okay. Kind of
So this,
existing integration between core system and legacy system.
yeah.
Okay. And
Is there any existing issue?
Is there any existing issue?
So this type of question I should ask to the user.
Mm-hmm.
So the third question is, what are the issues customers are facing in day-to-day life
Mm-hmm.
with process, and what
With?
are the with as is process,
Mm-hmm.
and what are the reason for code data duplication?
Okay.
This
Okay.
is also
So, yeah. So, do business have an expectation with specific to their current business operation, so that specific requirement can be Okay. So, Sriparna, so here we are not even considering. We are not even considering the requirement stage here. So we are not doing that. We are not doing that. Okay. So the
okay.
question was like basically like we have a set like a case that is presented, and the second thing is that so how basically are you going to so before you even come up with a set of questions, just can you all please mute your mics?
ம்ஹும். ம்ஹும். ம்ஹும்.
Yeah.
எல்லாரும் நல்லா
So
இருக்காங்க. அங்க எல்லாரும் எப்படி இருக்காங்க? பொண்ணு பையன்.
can you please mute your mics? Just give me a moment, please. I'll just,
ம்ஹும். ஓகே ஓகே. இல்ல இல்ல உள்ளதான் இருக்கேன். வீட்டுக்குள்ளதான் இருக்கேன். ஆமா ஆமா.
okay, fine. So the ask here is that so based on the problem statement, whatever the issues that are presented, so we should ask the stakeholders to understand the problems in detail. So we are not going to, at least at this point of time, we are not going to provide a solution because that's basically we don't have enough information out there. So but basically when there is a problem statement, we need to first of all understand, so what was the reason for the challenges, and like identifying the root cause in order to
Yeah.
understand the root cause, as well as there are some things which we can ask to the business people and other stakeholders. uh, First let me have a look at what others have done, then I'll give you a brief understanding of how what kind of questions that we can ask in this particular case study, or in a real time scenario, how we are going to approach these kind of things. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So what kind of, just let me quickly go through your questions. So what kind of integrations we are expecting between new system and core system? What is a core system platform, and what will be the new system platform? How to implement new system to solve data operation, data integration, data correction? Okay. What is the expected timelines for new requirement integrations? Yes. So Sriparna, some of these things are definitely within the scope of the case study that we have presented, and so that the case study that has the details. But some of the things, so obviously, since the information is very much limited, obviously we tend to go out of the box and try to understand the thing. Yeah. So, but as I informed, so here we are trying to understand the root cause of the issues. We're trying to understand the root cause of the issues. So anyway, so we will see how others have done it, and then we can have a quick discussion of like what kind of things that we should be writing in general. Okay. So who would like to go next? You please stop sharing your screen.
How to do that?
Yeah, Sujata, would you like to share your screen?
Yeah.
And have you,
Yes, Karan. I just
okay.
don't want to share my screen because I wrote in a paper as I got through the
Okay.
case today. I'm
Okay.
not sure
All
how
right.
much
You
I
can.
solved it, but I tried my best.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. No problem. So you can read through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how
So I was thinking
sharing my
by reading that.
So who else is? Okay.
You
Shriparna,
want to
I'm
go
keeping you on mute. Yeah. You can go ahead, Sujat.
Okay. So I was thinking that as I go on through the case study, I was thinking that we have to create a requirement
Mm-hmm.
for this. So like the requirement we had gone through, the challenges we had gone through in this case study, the old core system will be developed a new 3 core more systems, which will be integrated in between themselves. So there should be internal support system, which will
Mm-hmm.
help to modify this or all the process which went wrong. And the end-to-end will be developing or facing new or good customers experience. Like this didn't work
Mm-hmm.
out, so that I thought and I wrote about it only. I don't know what
Okay.
else I should write.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anyone tried attempting this homework?
Hi, Kiran.
Yeah,
Hi.
Anuja, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Just give me a moment. I'm going to share. I'm going to give you presenter access. Yeah,
Okay.
I made you presenter. You just click on show my screen.
Okay. Okay. Can all of you?
No, not yet.
Yeah, we can see it, I guess.
Oh, okay. So for me, I am not seeing it.
I
Okay.
mean, I can
Okay.
see it.
So,
Okay. Ideally, if you're seeing it, I should be able to.
should I do
Let can you please stop sharing and start it once again, please?
yeah.
So I'm making myself as presenter, Anuja. Just give me a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to make you presenter once again. So
Okay.
try sharing it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
Okay. So for this case study, actually, I did find out what the finance industry needs and what are the challenges they are facing now. So the most important needs are they wanted to innovate the way they lend, and they wanted to improve the that's the same one. They wanted to improve the overall customer experiences, and they already have a core system, but they wanted to connect 3 new systems to the core system. And the challenges they are facing is that the core system was connected to internal system with no or little integration. So they are facing a poor customer experiences. And other one, the core system cannot be replaced. They have to keep the core system. And other one, the duplication of information existed across the business function. And the other one, customer information was manually keyed. So that resulted in incorrect customer data. The other one, the resulting both inefficiency and inefficiency with data collection because they are manually keying the customer data. So there are some communication error with the key customers. So after studying up with the case study, after reviewing the data and documents provided by the stakeholder, I found out who are the stakeholders are. So I took 8 stakeholders for this one. The first, the business owner, because they are the business owner is also a client for the business analyst corporation, because the case study mentioned US that, and the other one, the product owner or the subject matter expert, the support team, the technical and non-technical support team. Next, the customers of the finance industry, the end users. I'm taking the end users as like the education. If we are applying for a personal loan, actually the education institution is the end user because they are getting the money. So I'm taking
Okay.
the educational institutions or the automobile consult company, or like the builders, home builders, etc. as the end user, and 6 the project manager, 7 the developer team, and 8 one the QA analyst. So I'm using the document analysis and interviews, brainstorming, and surveys for the requirement elicitation techniques. So I'm doing interviews with the business owner. So the questions are, what are the scope of the project, and have you done any feasibility study, because they said they are having an opportunity in lending money. So how they find out that they have new opportunity in lending money? Then do you have any competitors? If yes, how your rate for lending is different from them? Then what are your products or whom you lend money? Because for a business organization, the finance institution, they may be lending money or they may be investing money. I just want to ask about their products, like they are lending money, is there is the personal loan or the housing finance loan or business loan or something. Then are you looking for innovation in investment plans too? Because in the case study, that challenges, they only said about the innovation in lending of money. So I just asked them about the investment plans too. Then do you have any virtual code finder or rate finder? So they want to innovate the way they lend. So I just want to ask them the innovative technologies like virtual code finder, or if already they have them, or if they want to create that one. So, and I will explain about them, about the feature of the virtual code finder, and do you have any limits for each loan? Like the personal loan is, they are providing personal loan for this much of candidates or this much of limit in money. And do you have easy online application for lending? Because they asked us to give more innovative way of lending. And if no, do you want to add that feature? Then how do you find out the customer? Is there any, like, how do you customer reach out to you? And then how do customer access the system? Like, do they have a login page, or whatever they are using in that system? What are the 3 systems? The only in the case study question, they said about they wanted to add the three systems with the old system, but they didn't mention which system they want to add. So I just want to ask them what their preferences for the 3 systems. And after collecting the answers from the business owner, I want to interview the product owner or the subject matter expert. So I am assuming that I just want to ask questions about the old system. So I'm assuming the product owner or the subject matter expert knows well about the existing system. So what are the so I will ask, like, what are the functionalities of the existing system? What are the difficulty in terms of customer satisfaction? And how are the input stored? Like they have problems in data management. So is they what DBMS system they are using? What are the criteria for the money lending process? How does company reach out to the customers? Like they want to innovate the system for lending. So is there any innovative method they were using? What is the efficiency point of the system on level of 1 to 10? Like that that was a question for the technical writer. And what can you say about integration of the core system and other system? What are the major difficulties that we are facing for the integration of the system? Then do you have a 24-hour client support, because they want to improve their client service? And what are the 3 systems that you want to add? Like I already asked that question to the business owner, but I think the product owner or subject matter expert is more aware of the technical part of the system that I wanted. So what are the features needed in the system? And the third stakeholder is a support team, that both technical and non-technical support teams. They are always dealing with the customer and client problems, so they know better about the flows of the system. So I'm asking, like, what are the common customer complaints that you face? What are the difficulties you are facing to coordinate with the system? Because they are the one who are using most of the system's coordination. And do you face any difficulties accessing customer data? Is there any features customer request often, like they want to do some extra features for their login page? And then the customers of the finance industry, I would like to do that as a survey. Take a group of customers and give this survey page to them. Like, what are the features that you want to leave in customer login page? And I gave them a number of options. They can select from this, or they can select all of these options. These are the options that we can provide to them. And what are the things that you most concerned about applying for a loan? Like that you want a quick money, or they want easy access, like that. How do you find out which finance institution is best for applying for your loan? Because most of the customer are concerned about the rate and the fastest money lending companies. So I will ask you about what are the criteria they are looking for in a finance or organization. Then the company said they want to innovate the technology. So I like to add a feature like virtual helps. So just I will ask customers like how the 24-hour help sounds to you, and give option for them. And how do you prefer, like, the entire lending process through online, or only online application submission through online, other entire online application submission and approval process through online, but money transfer in person? Yeah, that's a survey question for them. And the end user I'm taking as the education institution for student loans, automobile dealers, and builders and construction. And I'm also giving a survey to them, like, you prefer any particular finance institution to your customers? Yes or no question. And also, if yes, what is the reason behind your suggestion? And after collecting all the data from the interviews and analyzing interviews, if as a BA I have access to DBMS system, then I then finds out the duplicated data of customers and study about is there any pattern in the duplication. And after collecting all this detail, I would like to do a brainstorming section with the project manager, the developer team, and the QA analyst, a collection of them. And how can we improve inputting, updating selection customer data, because that's the main problem of them. Then the data, when I have access to the DBMS system, after some conclusion, the data or duplication occur in some particular dates and some particular department. I'm assuming that for this case study, like the personal loan section has more data duplication than business loan section. How can we improve the current process? How can we improve the system speed? So and the customer need is from the survey, I'm assuming that the customer needs these possibilities or features. So how can we provide these features without changing existing system? Then how can we improve the integration of various system and core system? How can we improve the security of the system? As the business owner needs to improve the way they learn. How can we attain that goal other than online lending application and virtual help? What are the risks involved in the system? What is the price analysis of this project? And I don't know if I need to get into a solution but I don't know about that. Do we have to do a solution? But yeah, I just mentioned some solution for this. I don't know, is that correct? For a
Okay.
BA to do that?
Right, right. So yeah, Anujat, thanks for sharing the details. So one thing you have done correctly was with regard to the stakeholders. So as per the ask, you have identified the list of stakeholders like the business owner, the customers, and then you have the end users of the system, and you have the, like, you take all of them, the project manager, the development team, may not be the QA team at this point of time, so the technical team. So you have identified the stakeholders. When it comes to asking the questions, so we can assume few things, but not completely. So that's one thing that we need to remember. So all
Okay.
our questions, whatever that we ask, that should be within the limits of the, like, the information that's provided out there. So within the scope of that. So the idea that the organization has come up with, in simplest terms, they have, like, they wanted to integrate 3 new systems to their existing core system. So that's one. And as you like listed out the challenges, as you listed out the what the needs of the customer are, so those things are perfectly right from the case studies that is has been provided. So when it comes to asking the questions to the business or to the people, are, so the requirements obviously, like, as we talk to them, as we ask the questions to understand from them, from the business, when I
Okay.
say the technical team, so I do see like this, right?
Yeah.
Mm, so the finance company that we are talking about, they will have their own technical team to obviously manage their systems, okay,
Okay.
and their own support team who are supporting that application already. So that means, like, obviously, if someone is using some technology, obviously they'll be having some support team to support the technology. Otherwise, system goes down, no one will know. If there is no one to take care of, or there is no one to complain about, so then it is a problem for the business. So obviously, like, the we are outsiders, like, for BA, like BA is outsider, because we are talking about from the perspective of BAPL. And I
Okay.
don't think at the initial point we would be accessing their database.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
the main thing, so the ask is to, from the, like, whatever the content that is provided, the case study content, within those limits, what all questions that we can ask to the business, what all questions that you can ask to the support team, what all questions you can ask to the technology team, what all questions, as you mentioned, like, a product owner or a subject matter expert. So that's one good thing. So questions that we can ask to these people, so to understand the underlying problem, the reasons for it. And once we understand the reasons for it through our question, the next thing is what kind of solutions that we can go ahead with. And then again, so we can reach out to, we can go through brainstorming session, or like whatever the possible thing maybe, that is at the next level. That is,
Okay.
first, this is a problem statement, and we try to understanding the root cause of the things, and the challenges. And then the next level, when it goes to, okay, fine, so these are the challenges that we identified, these are the root causes of it, so how best we can go about having a solution. So what are the alternatives that we can think of? So that is again at a next level. So when we do the requirement, also this is how we would be doing it. First, we need to understand the problem or the underlying reasons for it, then put down those reasons and the underlying challenges with the technical leads, the business side of the people. And okay, so these are the 10, how best we can implement it. So what are the solution approaches that we have? Okay,
Okay.
so that's how it is. Yes, so there are, like, 60-70% of the questions which are in line with the whatever the case study. But yes, so when it comes to the end users, you have identified that the educational institutions and all that. So that seems to be like, the outer scope of the things out here.
Okay.
So wherein, yes, that could be lending to different organizations. But when you say the end user, Probably the end users are the employees of the organization, right? So
Okay.
one good end user would be the employees of finance organization itself, or the end users of the system. You can ask them, so what is the business process is all about? So like how many different divisions are there in terms of like when a loan process is initiated, so how does it flows through and what are the different approval mechanism, and with regards to whatever the core system and the integrated systems, right?
Yeah.
So like how do you collect the customer data? So is it collected at different systems? So different systems. And more importantly, as per the case study, if you look at that case study, the duplication of data. So what could be the reason for the duplication of the data? So it could be that there are the core system is there and core system is connected to n number of other systems, but at every stage of the loan lending process or the loan processing activity, whatever the system that is being used, the people who are using that system, they may be calling up the customer and collecting the data again. So there may be, let's say, 4 levels of approvals, or 1 level of scrutiny and 4 levels of different approvals from different divisions, for example, for the loan approval process. So in that case, every time the data is or the application flows from one system to other system, like we are collecting the data again out there. So if you collect the data multiple times manually, what can happen? It can
Get
lead
it.
to the data duplication. And since we are doing it manually, it can lead to manual errors, right? So
Yeah.
obviously, if you're doing something manually multiple times, we tend to do the mistakes. So let's say that a person's age is 70 and it is mentioned as 17. Obviously, all the loan requirements would get changed. That leads to customer dissatisfaction, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of things. So obviously, when we say the end users, probably the end users are the employees who are using the system for loan, like loan origination till the loan approval. So there may be a number of systems which are connected to the core application. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yes. So good try in terms of identifying the stakeholders and putting down. First, the important thing is like you could differentiate the questions to different stakeholders. That's the most important thing. So we can't ask the same question to all the stakeholders. And one question that you have asked to the two stakeholders is like, what are the features of 3 new systems? Why do you want to implement 3 new systems? You ask the business owner, you ask the like subject matter expert as well. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. So obviously, like the subject matter experts are maybe someone who can give you the better information from the organization. You're asking this question, okay, so in spite of the existing issues with the current system, why do you want to implement 3 new systems? What are the features that the 3 new systems are going to support?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one like a relevant question that we can ask to the business, as well as we can ask to like someone who can give the better information from the functionality of the existing systems. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So thanks, Anuja. Thank you so much. So who else would like to go next? Yeah, please stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Who else would like to go?
Hi, Kiran. Prachi here.
Yeah,
So
hi.
I've written it
Yeah, hi,
down.
Prachi.
So is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but
Okay.
next time
So
also
I'm not. Yeah, sure. I'll make sure
do
next
the
time I
spreadsheet
do it in.
properly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm
Okay.
not sure how right I am, but I would like to try. So,
Yeah, definitely.
firstly, I've not differentiated, but I assume that the business and client is the same. So, I would like to
Mm-hmm.
ask the business that since you have so many issues, why just 3 systems? Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that the 3 new systems will be able to, solve all the problems and issues that you have? And
Mm-hmm.
then maybe yeah. So if the information is entered manually by into the IT system, why are there so many issues? Is it because it is handled by multiple persons, as you said?
Mm-hmm.
And then okay. Uh, Okay, do you think that the new system will reduce and improve the data quality? Also, will the new system avoid the issue of the data duplication?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, will the new system be helpful in the integration issue?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that when we implement the new system, it won't affect the functionality of the old system? Also, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure if I can ask them these questions, but this is regarding the old system. Are there any documentation or legacy documentation available for the old system that we can go through just to
Mm-hmm.
verify?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's about it. So just tell me if I'm going in the right path
Okay.
or no. Yeah.
Okay. So Prachi, like if you look at your questions, right? If you go through your
Mhm.
questions, most of them start with will. Will you like
Okay.
will these integrated
Mhm.
systems are going to solve the sorry, will these three new systems will solve the issue or something of that sort? So
Mhm.
if you ask like if you see the answer for the same, they'll say yes or no,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So does it give you enough information
No, there's no
when you want
clarity.
to write a proper document, like full level documentation of what needs to be implemented, how it needs to be implemented, for
Mhm.
example? So are these questions are going to give you clarity around the challenges or clarity around the solution? No, right?
Not really.
so
No, yeah.
so so that's why the first thing that we need to remember is the questions that we ask, we need to
Mhm.
make sure we get the detailed information from the stakeholders. That's one very
Mhm.
important thing. So that is why yes or no kind of questions, so we should avoid mostly. So when you're going for a
Okay.
personal interview or any other approach to reach out to the stakeholders, so we should basically avoid that. And second thing is all your questions are around the three new systems. Okay, the three
Mhm.
new systems. So the idea here is that more than three new systems, basically we are trying to understand the root cause of the current challenges that the team is facing. Yes, one of the things that we need to consider is they are implementing three new systems on top of the existing system. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you look at the case study, so they have a core system, so which is we call it as the legacy system, core system and legacy system. Sriparna, you have like differentiated both, but the core system is a legacy system. So that means that it was maybe like 10 years old or 15 years old, 20 years old, where their business logic and everything may be sitting in the core system, right? So if you see some of the organizations right now, even till today, though their systems are 20 years old, 30 years old, they are on mainframes and all those technologies, the older technologies, still they are continuing with the technology. Why? The reason being maybe their all business logic is written in those systems and they're happy with the firewalls and maybe the network mechanism, all that. And or maybe it is because of too much investment to rewrite everything on a different technology. So like that, for n number of reasons, the organization may be using those core systems. And in the case study, Prachi, could you please mute your mics? Everyone, please mute your mics. Okay. So that's the reason why, like in the case study, it was mentioned that we don't want to replace the core system. We want to go ahead with the core system at any cost, though it has challenges and everything. So we want to go ahead with those core system. And the core system was connected to a number of internal systems which were disparate with little or no integration at all. So I mean that every system around the core system is not properly integrated with the core system. Not properly integrated in the sense what? The data that's supposed to flow or the workflow that's supposed to flow from system 1 to system 2. System 2 are like a middle office system or a core system where the business logic is there, and to system 3, system 4, like the database and other systems, the connectivity may not be good. So since the connectivity is not good, so obviously you have to deliver, so you have to deal with the data multiple times. For example, the data that is collected in system 1 is going to system 2 properly through proper connectivity and the communication. There is no need of collecting the data again in system 2, if at all, if you're collecting every possible information at level 1. But so there may be some kind of this integration issues. which are leading to the duplication of the data. Duplication is because this the customer information is manually keyed into several systems. So that's where the same data is published in multiple systems. So rather than having a one centralized database which can access all this data from centralized data. So if you have centralized database, the moment the customer data is entered, if that is entered in the centralized database and all these systems are connected to that database, every time you get the data from one master file. So that is not there. So here the data is flowing from one system to other system for the from loan origination to approval process. So that's where because of the integration issues, the data is being collected multiple times. So based on that information, so we need to be asking the questions. So I'll just give you a few examples. So from the business, when we talk to the business, obviously we talk to the business to understand like what their business perspective is. I mean their business owner perspective is, and in spite of all these things, why do you want to implement three new systems? How do they think that these three new systems are going to help the like innovation or like improve the market share? So they clearly mentioned that the purpose of three new systems to improve the market share. So how do they think that the three systems are going to improve the market share? Are we what is the strategy that they are going to play about those three new systems? And why do they want to actually since they have already the integration challenges on top of those, so why do, rather than correcting those things, so why do they want to actually go ahead implementing three new systems? So these kind of questions you can ask to the business, and you can ask a number of questions to the business, so if at all if we propose a solution, so is it going to be can we modify the existing core system for some reason if it is needed? So something like that. So all the questions should be more from the business perspective. So when we talk to the support team are the people who can give us the better information, because they are the ones who would be facing the clients directly. Whenever there are issues with the system, the support team would be getting the call. So you can ask them what kind of the support queries that they would be getting on regular basis. How many of them are the related to the technical challenges? So what kind of technical challenges the systems are facing? So that's what one thing. And coming to when we talk to their technical leads or the development leads are the people who are technically oriented with that system. So we can ask them, okay, what do you think are the reason for the integration challenges? Okay, how many systems are connected to the core system? How many systems are connected to the core system? And maybe if they have someone who can give us the subject matter understanding, so what would be the functionality of each of the systems? What would be the functionalities of the each of the systems which are connected to the core application, so that we understand that what is the workflow, and in order for that workflow, so what kind of if there is any redundancy, and so if there is a data flow issue, like what would be the reason? You can ask them what is the technology on which these systems are implemented, what kind of connectivity, the interfacing connectivity between the system 1 to system 2 or core system to all the other internal systems. So to understand the underlying reason for the connectivity or integration challenges. So all these questions we can ask to the technical team to understand the technical challenges, and by which so we would try to or we would need to understand the root cause of the issues. So once we have, so obviously the information is pretty much limited, just one paragraph or sorry, two paragraphs. In that also only one paragraph that talks about the challenges. So that is very limited information. With that limited information, we can't actually get that required information. Obviously, if they are presenting the problem statement, if they are presenting how, if they are asking us to improve their system, they need to give a brief background of their business and what are all the different divisions in that business and what are all the different levels of approval process and from the loan origination to the approval, disbursement, what are all the systems involved. So that information also we would be getting. So that's when we can ask more specific question to more specific people. So, but with limited information, so we can basically we would be able to ask the questions within the scope that is been given out there. Okay, is that clear? Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So
Mm-hmm.
we can predict any solutions, or we can do the brainstorming or the like sections using this scope of the project, right?
Yes. So obviously, like once we get the underlying reasons and the details around the challenges and what are all the new systems that they are trying to develop, then we brainstorm with the stakeholders, again the business owner, again the technical leads and their subject matter experts, and our own understanding of the business. Obviously, like we are hired for providing the solution, so that means that we should be having the expertise in that industry, without which they won't be hiring us. So obviously with our expertise of that industry, so we should be, or we along with having the discussion, so we should brainstorm and come up with a solution which can solve the integration issues, the data duplication. Along with that, the third thing is like these three new systems need to be integrated. So how these three new systems need to be integrated, the seamless integration, again it should not lead to the similar issues of like what the other systems having currently or the current state is. So that's the whole idea. So obviously the brainstorming should be done to implement three new systems, and then the data duplication, avoiding data duplication, and solving the integration challenges in the existing current system. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
obviously at the next level, so obviously first thing is to understand the reasons for the problems and the root causes, and then the second thing, so the second thing is the point where so you brainstorm and come up with a solution approach, and third thing is probably more specific approach where you choose one or two options as the alternative, and then go in detail, like get the information in detail. So drill down and talk to each of the different divisions and try to understand in detail, and then come up with a solution set of requirements.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just
Yeah,
yeah.
I have another question. Like, if we are asked to do a case study, then we
Mm-hmm.
just do the interview parts only. Like, we don't do any
Not
solution.
yeah. So basically, see, yeah. So this case study is like the ask is to understand the problems and understand the root cause of it. But
Okay.
if there is another case study, probably with a different task, so you can probably, the best option always would be personal interviews. Okay, the
Okay.
best option, obviously, you prepare your set of questions to the specific stakeholder group and do it. But if at all, like for example, you are working in an organization, you are working for a software application which supports the trading activities, for example, and on a whole, like the organization want to improve our system, and they want to know what is the perspective of their employees with regards to that system. So in that case, they call up the major stakeholders and put a brainstorming session. Okay, they inform earlier that we are planning to do it. So brainstorming session on how we can improve the system. So that is when they give us a like an initial heads up, like maybe a week or 2 weeks before, and we'll do some background analysis, and like you can give some ideas regarding how we can improve the existing system. So that's where the brainstorming may be used. But in general, like with regard to this particular case study, the personal interviews, like talking to one or two stakeholder at once, would be a more sensible approach.
Okay. I have another question too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had a misconception about the end user. So the end user is
Mm-hmm.
the one who will be using the system at the end, right? Not the end user of the if for the finance institution, not the end user of their finance utilizer, right?
So end user is basically the actual user of the software.
Okay.
And it is not necessary that there should be one group of end users. In the end users also you have like segregations. For example, let's take an example of a banking software, right?
Okay.
So if you talk about a banking software, different like banks use the banking software. Banks are the, like for example, if you talk about the product owners, like TCS owns a banking software called as TCS Banks. Okay.
Okay.
Infosys owns a banking software called as Finacle. So similarly, Oracle owns a banking software called as FlexiCube. So for example, the FlexiCube is the most famous one. It is used by Bank X. So Bank X is the customer for FlexiCube.
Okay.
Bank X is the customer for Bank X. But Bank X means who are the actual users of the system? The employees of the Bank X, like who are sitting in the branch, right? So whenever we want to open an account, we go to the branch, right? So we give them our details and the address proof and everything. They open the account for us. And any further transactions, when we approach the bank, they will do the transactions for us. So obviously, they are the users of the system. One category of the users are the bank employees. And again, in the bank employees also, you have subcategories, right? So branch manager is one type of end user, and help desk teller is one type of end user, and personal banker is one type of end user, because their permissions are different. If I'm a branch manager, I can see all the transactions done by the people in my branch. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm a personal banker, I can see all my transactions only. If I'm a help desk teller, I will not be having any option to transfer the funds or deposit or withdrawal of funds, but I'll have access to check the accounts of the customer if they walk in, and like if there are any challenges, I can give them the suggestion. That's how my access are limited. So that way the end users are different, right? So different categories. And apart from these internal end users, there are external end users, like people who are having internet banking, right?
Yeah.
Like you and me, who has the internet banking with BankX. We also use the same software for doing the banking transactions. And again, we may be savings bank account holders, and there may be some corporates which are also using the bank account for their salaries and everything, for their day-to-day cash flow movement and all that. So they may be using it. They are called as the corporate account holders. They are also another group of end users, right? So
Yeah.
you are in different country and you want to open an account with Indian bank. So you'll open NRI banking account. So you are
Yeah.
also a different end user group, and your permissions, your accesses, your things would more involve with the like currency conversions and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And your withdrawal limits would be different from someone who has a savings account who operating from India. So obviously, like the end user, when we say, there are multiple people who would be using the system, and our understanding should be the people who are using the system, we call them as the end user. When we want to segregate based on their roles and responsibilities, we should be able to segregate the end users.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
All right. So with this, I'm going to stop here for today. So any questions, I'll take it up tomorrow. So the next homework that I'm going to review is the list of stakeholders and their purpose of using the system. The list of stakeholders and their purpose of using the system. The other day, I have asked you to go through that flow chart, and I also presented that flow chart to the coordinators. I'm not sure whether you have received it or not. So I want you to go through the list of stakeholders and their purpose of using the system. It's a very important one. So because in continuations to that one, so we would be working on set of requirements. So that's why I want you to complete that first, and then I can take you through the next session of how we can basically document the requirements. Okay, is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
One
all right,
question.
thank you so much. Yeah, please go ahead.
Kiran, the flow chart is not that clear.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they did share the link of the recordings today.
Okay, did they share?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
they
one
should.
They
which
share.
has the
Yeah,
flowchart, that one too. Yeah.
yeah. So in that case, you can go through the recording one. So probably like you can see all the details at the end of the session, all the like the complete flow chart at least. Okay,
Kiran, I
Sritam.
just
Okay.
had one question. So, can this case study and the questionnaire, whatever we have done, so can we say this is the one type of BRD, means business requirement
No,
documents, or
no, no,
no?
no, not at all, not at all. So that's very like the one that we have like tried doing it is the prior stages of the prior stages of even coming up with the business needs. Okay,
Okay,
so before that we are doing the drilling down to understand the problem. Then those problems, like when we try like putting into solutions, we will come up with the needs. The needs are
okay,
translated into the business requirements, and the business requirements are translated into the functional requirements. That's how it is.
okay, okay.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thanks, bye.
Now, Kiran.